Okay, we are doing 11-7, guys.
I'm trying to get I will focus.
Okay, so 11-7 has two parts to it. The law of sines and the law of cosines. Today we're going to go over the law of cosines. So up to this point, we have talked about a cosine of an angle is equal to the opposite side, adjacent side, adjacent side over the hypotenuse. This is limited because it has to be a right triangle. So the only times we can use these ratios is in right triangles, that the ratio that we're looking at. And that still holds true, but some people back, that are smarter than me, decided to play with things, and they decided, what if we could make something work with cosines that would work for every triangle? And right now we're going to do every triangle with acute angles. It does work for obtuse, but that's a little bit more than we're going to go. So right now we're going to find a relationship called the law of sines or cosines that works in all acute triangles. That means we don't have to have a 90-degree angle, because a lot of times things are not 90-degree angles, and we have three different sized angles. Okay? So the first thing we have to remember is how we label triangles, because this is going to use the letters and stuff from the diagram. So when we have a triangle, that's obtuse. I have to make one that's acute. That's obtuse too. I cannot draw. Okay, we'll just draw one. It's not 90. Okay, so it's A, B, C. No non-90-degree angle. Okay. Remember when we label the sides. The side opposite of angle A is little a. The side opposite of angle B is little b, and the side opposite C is little c. So it's very important to know that the sides opposite the angle are labeled by the small letter of the angle. Okay, so that's how we name them. In law of sines, we use A, B, and C. We don't use X, Y, and Z for this law. It's normally written as A, B, and C. Okay, so knowing that, what the law of sines, there's three ways I can write the law of sines. Okay, this is how it works. It really comes from the Pythagorean theorem and the law and the definition of sines is where it comes from. So what it equals is this. Depending on your reference angle. So let's say this is my reference angle. Okay. It's, I have to remember how this works again. It's the opposite side of it. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So what we can say about this is if I'm looking at angle C, okay, then C squared will equal A squared plus B squared minus 2 times AB times the cosine of C. Okay, that's a lot of stuff right there, okay? But it does work in every triangle. Now, you have to at least know the angle here, and you have to know at least a couple sides before we can really use this. Okay, now if I knew two angles, we could get the third angle. So then we would use a different scenario of law. It would be the law of sines. This one you have to use. You need two sides and the enclosed, it's called the enclosed angle. So I have to know A and B, and I have to know C because it's enclosed between A and B. Okay. So to use it, this is important, you need to have that. Now you can technically find it if you have C squared and B squared. So if you have two sides, you can technically find it also, but you have to do more algebra. Okay. So we'll practice working with those in a little bit. If we reference it to a different angle, let's say I'm doing, well, I'll leave that. Let's draw the thing again. Okay. This time I'm doing A, B, C, C, B, A. Now I'm doing it with A. Okay, so if you're doing it A, then A squared, so it's the opposite side squared. The opposite side squared is equal to the other side squared and added together. So in this case, it would be B squared plus C squared minus 2BC, notice these are the ones there, times the cosine of angle A. Okay. Again, do I expect you to memorize this? No. Have these written down. But this is always the opposite side of the angle that you're using. Okay, so always start with it. These are the other two sides. Notice they're the ones that go in here. And then this is cosine of the angle that you're using. Okay, so it's always, the one that's outside is always the opposite side of the angle that's in the cosine. Okay, so our last one's going to be very similar. We've done C squared and A squared. The last one is B squared. What would B squared be equal to? What squared plus what squared? Just looking at it. Think of the pattern. What are the other two sides?
B squared equals A squared plus C squared.
Yep, B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2. Looking at our pattern, it's going to be 2 what? AC times the cosine of what angle? B. Okay. So there is a pattern to it, obviously, but you can use this on any triangle. Right now we're just using it on acute triangles because it gets more complicated when we start going to obtuse. Actually, obtuse with law of cosines works very well. It's our sine functions that don't work so well because you can get two different answers based on whether one's acute or one is obtuse. And so you can get different answers, okay? So this is really what we're looking at today. Now to use it, you have to have two sides and an angle. You don't have to have the enclosed angle, but that's the easiest one to work with, okay? So let's see how you would use it. Let's just do one of the problems out of the book. I have to find one that uses law of cosines.
What are we using this to find?
Different lengths of things. Okay. Sine. Just a minute, here we go. Okay, so we're gonna use, okay, this one works. Let's look at number, first we're gonna start with 17. Okay, so I'm gonna do 17 with you right now. So everybody look in the book, draw the picture on your paper for 17. Everybody should be drawing the picture for number 17.
That was horrible.
11.7, I reckon.
Okay,
What question 17?
how many sides do I know here?
Two.
2. How many angles do I know?
Right.
1. That means if I know two sides plus 1 angle, I can use law of cosines. That is the thing that we have to have before you can use this law. Okay, so that's something you have to recognize when you're looking at these problems. If you don't have 2 sides, you can't use the law of cosines. You have to have at least 2 sides before you can use that. Okay, so in this one, we have 30 degrees, so I'm going to call that angle A. Okay, so that means this is A. I'm going to call this one B, so that means this is B. I'm going to call this one C. Did it label it?
No.
Good, because I don't want to label it different. Okay, it equals C. The reason I do that is because I don't get confused now when I'm using the formula. So I just named this A, so I said this is A, because it's the opposite of A. The opposite of B is little b. The opposite of C is little c. Okay, so we can now use our formula. We're going to call this the sine or cosine of A. Okay, so we have to start looking. Remember, if I'm doing cosine of A, that's really going to be at the end. Cosine of A is going to be at the end of my formula. The opposite side is what's going to be by itself, because the opposite side is always the A squared by itself. Because I'm using cosine A squared be by itself. I'm writing it down so I know which version to use. That will equal B squared plus C squared
Those are
minus 2BC.
those are little b and c, right?
Yes, those are little
They're
b and
always-
c.
Are they always?
These are always sides. This is the only angle. Okay, big capital A is the only angle. This formula only uses one angle. Okay, you never use more than one angle for this formula. Okay, now we can fill in. A is the same as x, so we get x squared equals b, which is 26 squared, plus c, which is 30 squared, minus 2 times b, which is 26, times c, which is 30, times the cosine of 30 degrees, because that's angle A. Okay. Now it's a matter of plug and play. You plug it into your calculator, and the calculator plays around with it and gives you an answer. So now it's just plug and play. So we do, oops, that's a squared. We do the squareds first, we do the multiplication and this multiplication, then we add, and then finally we subtract. Remember order of operations, okay? So it's going to be squared, get that answer, write it down, squared, get that answer, write it down. Multiply these times the cosine of 30, get that answer, write it down, then add the answers and subtract that other number. Then what do you have to do? Okay, everybody has a calculator, you should be trying this right now. I wanna make sure you know how to do it on your calculator. Russ, can you lend Elijah your calculator right now? Okay,
The little X to the second thing.
okay. So I wanna make sure you know how to get this answer before you leave.
Next year's 2026. What? How does that relate to this? It's 1567.
1576.
You're supposed to do multiplication before subtraction. 15.
Yes, we are.
We have 1576. That plus and then minus. Yeah. Wait. Okay. This is right. Wait, how would you do it? Would you do it 26 times 30 then times 2?
You can do it either way,
Okay.
multiplication can be done in
Oh,
either
that's true.
order. What
Huh.
am I in right now?
1560?
I did it wrong.
0.86.
Oh.
I did it wrong.
Okay,
Wait, they're really close. Are they supposed to be really close in number?
676 plus 900.
Wait, and
How do you get real number? What?
What?
Right?
30 times 30 is 900.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
so you have to.
No, that sounds right. That's 1576.
Right, but then you have to get the 2 times 26 times 30 times the cosine of 30.
2 times 26.
What do you get?
Cosine 1560 is what I get for that.
So
Times
I
2
just.
times
calculator.
30
So that's.
times 26.
I had an extra calculator at
Oh my
home.
god.
Yeah, like somehow
Alright,
it's stuck in spot.
six.
Isn't that 1560?
I was missing one. I know
Wait,
what you
hold on.
did.
What? And it doesn't have the back on. How'd you get 1350?
When you add those together, you.
Okay, in your calculator, I would do cosine first, do cosine of 30, then multiply it by 2 times 26 times 30. Or do 2 times 26 by 30, get that answer, then do cosine of 30 and multiply it.
Okay, so that I didn't realize you multiply by the cosine of 30. Oh, yeah, I didn't do that.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Do all that
Wow,
at the same
kind
time.
of important.
Just
So wait till
the
the-
subtraction.
Oh, that got the wrong
What'd you
answer.
get, Luke?
Oh wait, yeah, I didn't put that in.
You won.
Good year.
I got X.
I have no idea what.
X equals what?
Probably beheaded a few people.
14?
15.
Oh, okay.
4.
Thought you were saying 14. Why did you get 14?
225? One day. Wait, the
This is
cosine.
why I'm doing it with you, because I wanna make sure you guys know how to do it. If in your calculator, when I put it in my phone calculator, I would just tell you what it did. When I multiplied this and then multiplied by this, it gave me some weird number. I don't know what order it was doing. When I did cosine of 30 in my phone, multiplied by 2 times 26 by 30, I got the 1351.
Oh, that's
So-
good enough.
That's, when you're doing it in your phone, you have to double check, cause I was getting a decimal number and I knew it was not a decimal number.
That explains why I got decimal number.
Yes, it is. Because you
That's how you
can,
got 13. Okay, that makes sense.
does that make
I don't
sense?
know why it was giving me different answers before, but
Because somehow something was not
Yeah.
in the calculator correctly. I always find if I do the most complicated thing first and then go multiply by the other numbers, it will come out usually more correct, as long as you put a parenthesis at the end of 30 degrees. I usually do cosine 30 equals, and then I hit times 2 times 26 times 30, and that way I know it's not gonna screw up. Yes,
When you get to 1351, what do you do after that?
so then you're gonna add these two, get 1576, subtract 1351, which gives you 225, and the beauty of 225 is that is a perfect square,
Yep.
so x is 15. Okay, so I just wanted you to know how to put these into your calculator, because I think that's important. Okay?
That was the extent of my brain. It's dead now.
There's some.
What day is it? Today's 17th.
Yes,
That's what I'm thinking, man. What day is it?
today is
No, totally.
St. Patrick's Day,
Oh, I'm wearing green. Hey, you're wearing green, so you won't get pinched too well.
hence why I have shamrocks on my shirt.
I've got a green dot.
Does anybody notice what my earrings are?
Yes, pie.
Oh, Pi Day.
I did.
From Friday. We had Pi Day and we missed it. Okay, everybody grab, let's
I have
see,
green in my mouth.
1, 2,
Did I green my
4,
pencil?
5, okay.
What did you get?
Elijah and Lene, you come up here, okay? You can grab any of these, you get orange, okay?
They're not supposed to.
Aaron and Blake, yeah, Aaron and Blake, can go up there and use that set.
You need to make sure to wax.
I don't know if I wanna put that together, you guys gonna come, you guys do well, but okay. You guys are gonna go up to the second floor. They're not done,
Wait, how do we all
they're
know what
great.
copper tastes like,
Us.
guys?
Okay. You and Jake get the third board,
I
Micah
admit.
and Harrison get the last board up there.
Alright, thank you.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
There's some resistance.
I'm going out this way. Like, you will get pitched now because you have green. Yep.
Well, my shoes are green too.
Wait, everybody needs to be up by a board. Everybody has something to write with.
No, wait.
Okay, on your, I want you to draw a right triangle. Label the right angle C. Label the right, and I put A and B somewhere. Draw a right triangle. No, it's not out of the book right now. Label the right angle C. Yes, go ahead and put those in if you want.
Wait, do you mean the right angle or the right side?
The right angle.
Oh.
The right angle label C, and then put A and B on it. I do not see a right triangle,
I
sorry.
don't know how long
It doesn't matter, just right. There you go, put A and B somewhere on those two.
Sorry guys, Jake's mine.
Wait, what happened? Are you guys doing not right? Yeah, Jake, put it there.
Trying to trick you.
Okay, now, label side C with 15. Side C is 15. Okay, side C is 15. And angle B is 25. Angle B is 25 degrees. Angle B is 25 degrees. Write a relationship so you can find side A. Write a relationship so you can find side A.
We need two sides to.
No, you don't. Think back about what we've done before. This is a right triangle. You can use sine, cosine, and tangent on this.
We have hypotenuse.
So, what we have is the adjacent side, right?
Which angle did I tell you to find?
You write on the way.
Wait,
Did
what
I
angle?
say B?
Can't write on the way.
Said side A.
Side A. You're finding side A.
Honestly, right the way you do. Just what we know the hangout.
Oh, side.
See how I know it's on right like this?
This is a right triangle. What can you use with right triangles?
So,
Can you find
Tangent, cosine, sine,
Do we have to solve for it?
What
no,
are we solving for?
no,
Alright.
okay?
So we're not supposed to use the formula you just gave us?
I said this is a right triangle.
Oh.
If you use a right triangle, you can have your notes.
That's an idea.
Get your notes.
Let me go all the way back.
Cosine of 25 is there.
Wait, what,
Get my notes.
Everybody's,
Which one are not even gonna be legible anyhow?
that was what we did on 11 and 4 and 5. 5 is me.
We know the project is 15. Does she want to plug in the gap?
No, oh, give it to me with a number.
Okay.
It wouldn't be that.
Oh, wait.
Think about, yeah, that's fine. You have the right idea, just think about it differently.
It would be 25, 11, 15.
Okay,
Then it would be.
I'm sabotaging
It's probably up to 65 over 50.
Where is
It's such a big chilling.
we're looking for A.
We have 25 and they're looking for 8.
No, we're looking little a, side little a,
Alright.
side little a, side little a.
That's all we need. Oh, I so, do tangent A maybe?
What do you have? What is 15? Okay, so you probably want to use a formula that has the hypotenuse in it.
Oh wait, it is on.
Well, but A is not the hypotenuse. Which one's the hypotenuse? 15. So, and that's where I say use your numbers because you need to be able to, you don't want you to have to memorize. But you have to have your notes out so you
Okay,
can
so
remember
no,
what it
so
is.
B
The most
plus
important is you need to be able to
25 is 1
identify
B,
the
right?
solution.
B minus 1
Oh.
is
What's the hypotenuse?
What easy way to find it,
So what do we get? We're looking for A.
What it'll be.
So we have 6
Looking for A.
Do we have to find the actual one or?
I got the wrong
I think
answer.
so, we could just find it.
Side A.
Now we have to know which one it is. So we go.
What is 15?
15 is.
So I would probably use one that has hypotenuse in it.
We already have.
It doesn't matter, it depends on where, what you're doing, you can do it that way. On yours, so people drew these differently, so it may be, I mean, these guys seem to, let me see. No, everybody seemed to draw them the same, okay. Oh, you don't actually have to figure, I just want the ratio. I'm just checking to see the ratio.
I can't find my notes. So A.
Oh.
90, 20. A over 15.
Oh, shoot,
It's fine, it'll come up.
it's washable, I will tell you that.
No, it's permanent expo mark. Oh, nothing.
Okay, you guys change it now, we're gonna change, we're gonna get rid of C, erase C as 15.
Oh, right.
Erase C as 15. I'm gonna give you B is 10, little b is 10. Find A. Find little a. Okay, so we're erasing this,
So we have the angle.
and we want to say that's 10.
Okay.
And I want you to find little a again.
965.
We're trying to find.
Okay, which one are we getting? Sure, that works.
Yeah, we're using.
Sine of 65 would work.
So then,
Okay, wait.
I'm looking.
What is
for the notes,
65?
because I don't have-
So, that tells us.
That is an angle, right?
Yeah.
In the ratios, do angles go in the ratios? No. Okay, so what is the ratio for sine?
Nope, don't look at ours. Don't look at ours.
Okay,
cause we're still finding
equals
this.
what?
Yeah, I think so could be.
What is, A equals what? Yes, because it's the opposite
Would be, and
side.
then this would be 90,
Over
right?
the
Because it's the
hypotenuse.
angle.
So if you look at your notes, yes,
Yeah.
No, you don't have to
So,
actually solve.
just because I get it right.
Done.
I'm not
Okay.
And then what
Now, I
that
want you
one,
to
that
change
email,
this.
I'm gonna clear out one.
instead of that one.
Then I'm gonna.
I don't want you
We're
to
gonna
find,
find
I just want the ratio.
I'm getting you a
Or
piece.
give me a ratio. I'm changing the problem.
Did the
Oh,
guy-
yeah.
Yeah. No, he texted me, but.
Yeah.
Give me a ratio for.
Yeah, for my
That
mom,
would be
my mom.
Because he doesn't know how to actually do
Uh,
that.
My son's friend.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
Oh, wait.
So.
actually.
That's correct, okay, so now, so what I want you to do
Is the
is I
delivery,
want you to
is there
erase CS
a delivery
15,
fee or is it included in the price?
No, I think we're actually.
okay, make B
Or
10,
65. And then.
and now find
That's
a.
rolling to
Oh,
the-
that's the opposite.
Is what, cosine?
Yeah, we're trying to find
Yeah.
that.
That's perfect,
You think that one?
perfect, okay, erase the right
No,
triangle,
that's right.
right angle, sorry, erase the right angle.
Do you want us to erase all this?
Cause once I check it, I know I'm done.
Okay.
Erase the right angle,
So.
erase all the given
Let's
numbers.
try 20.
Yeah.
Opposite over adjacent. Assume 25, A over 10.
Yep.
So A over 10. And then,
Okay,
and then.
so I'm
do
gonna
our
tell you
angle
that
to
A
10, right?
to
Tangent
the A
equal
is 5,
10.
little,
And over.
little c is equal to 7.5, I don't know why.
Which angle?
And I'm gonna give you angle A. Oh, no, I'm not, I'm gonna give you angle B.
Wait,
Angle
wait,
B.
but we'd have to define it.
Angle B is going to be 32.
And what are we trying to find? The dance?
I want you to find the length of B. Find the length of B.
Hallucinating.
Okay, did you hear all those? Cosine, not quite. Oh, you can do cosine of 90. That's not gonna quite get it. You have to do the acute angle instead of 90. Okay, because that's gonna give you 0.
Yeah.
So you have to do, so cosine of B, and would be the opposite, and A would be the,
Adjacent.
so what ratio is that?
Yeah.
This sheet, opposite over its tangent. I have your sheet. Okay,
So
got
what
it,
we do,
good,
think over opposite ends.
except for, what is the
We did
opposite?
it before.
Did you use, which did you use, 65 or 25?
25.
Okay, so let's look at
Oh, wait.
the opposite of 25 is 10. So this ratio here,
Wait.
A over 10 would be the opposite, the tangent of what? Tangent of
Oh,
65.
never mind. Oh, see, that's why that number's supposed to be higher. Sorry. Yeah, it's supposed to be 21. so-
That is correct. That is absolutely
I think
correct.
it's still recording.
Oh, you're right. Thank you. You guys have been recorded.